X full, we command in the block. Burgundy and gold, got the city on lock. Hustling plays, they don't need to pretend. DC reppin' strong and we fight to the end. Commanders moving, no breaks, no pause. Hands in the dirt, respecting the call. KDot and Amit, dissect the grind. District divider with a city in mind. Trying to dance why, don't miss a bit. And you gotta spread the words, or shit is shit. KDot.
Welcome, everyone, to District Divided, a DC sports podcast. More specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit. That is KDot. This episode, it's the Faith Chips episode. We did one last year. We're doing it again this year. We each get 100 chips that we distribute in a positional breakdown in terms of how much faith we have in each positional group. So we're going to get into that to begin the episode. More on Terry McLaurin right now. He still is not signed, of course. More information has come out in the meanwhile. We also take a moment to pat ourselves on the back because, man, that last episode aged like fine wine. We have been reading this perfectly so far, KDot. And we are going to be talking about a second side piece team. This time, there is no floor for wins. It could just be anybody. So who are our second side piece teams as we continue to talk more about the NFL as a whole as we continue this episode? Comment mailbag as we always do. But before we begin this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
And we pray. This is from the book of Faith Chips, chapter 7, verses 1 through 11. And the days of summer grew long, and the faithful hungered for the sound of pads and the clash of helmets. Lo, the Hall of Fame game came upon us, and we did gather before the screen in great anticipation. We watched the first quarter as pilgrims at the temple, but by the second, the game played only in the background, while our eyes wandered to the scroll of Instagram, where cheeks and thighs did outshine the play of backup quarterbacks. Yet in Ashburn, the work was mighty. The Commanders labored under the sun. JD5 moved amongst them as our savior, and Sam, son of Hartman, stood fair and sexy in stature. So the question remained, shall Terry of McLaurin receive his 30 million pieces of silver? Is he not worthy of the harvest he brought forth? The answer was not yet made plain, but our hope was not diminished. For training camp is alive, the season draws near, and the faithful will soon feast again. Go forth, brethren and sistren, share this shit and say amen.
Share this shit. Amen. That was beautifully done, KDot. Absolutely beautifully done. And actually, one more thing before we begin this episode is we want to shout out Ref the District, who just announced that they are hanging it up. They're putting the microphones away. Whether that's a permanent thing or hopefully a temporary thing, we will see. But we just want to say 4.5-year run for them. They were our very first guests on here. I remember being so excited when we got Ref the District coming on. KDot and I texted like crazy, being like, all right, we need to make sure it's good and all this. Oh, no. So Nathan, Stoner, Trev, congratulations on an amazing run. You continue to push us to be better as we grew alongside each other. You guys more than us, frankly. But yeah, all the best. And you guys are welcome on anytime. KDot, quick word on them before we begin.
We were always better than you. No, I'm joking, man. Really, it's like when Ref the District came on, it made, I think it was like a moment for us thinking, I guess we're doing this legitimately. Like, this is legit. Like, we're doing this thing. Like, it's that, like, they were for, and Nathan has been such a wonderful person to us in every way and capacity. I mean, if they're not doing, I know the door's open anytime you guys want to have on. I mean, we're not opening up a third chair because I know that just means I'll be out the door, but you're welcome almost anytime that you want to come on the show. I'm got like, please, if you got your commander shit, you need to get out. Come on, guys. We'll miss you in the space.
Absolutely. And just to echo what KDot said and what I initially said,
right,
you guys are welcome anytime. You guys are welcome anytime. So all the best in the meanwhile, and hope life, smooth, and you guys can get back into it because we need you guys. But,
absolutely.
Without further ado, why don't we go ahead and begin our show here and talk about the Faith Chips. So once again, this is KDot gets 100 chips. I get 100 chips. And it's a positional breakdown where we distribute chips to each of the groups. The groups, as a reminder, the quarterbacks, the running backs, the wide receivers, the tight ends, the offensive line, defensive line, linebackers, DBs, so that's going to be corners and safeties, and special teams. Okay, so that's what we're going to do. And as a reminder of last year's totals, KDot, the quarterback position had 7, then 10 for the running backs, 18 for the wide receivers, 8 for the tight ends, 6 for the offensive line, 20 for the defensive line, 15 for the linebackers, 6 for the DBs, and 10 on special teams. Those were yours. Mine. Quarterback had 12, running back had 16, wide receivers 11, tight ends 9, offensive line 4, defensive line 18, linebackers 14, DBs 6, and special teams 10. Without further ado, are you ready to go?
I am.
All righty. Cool. So beginning with the quarterbacks this year, KDot, once again, you have 100 chips. Jaden Daniels, of course, JD5, who has been excellent. Rookie of the year, maybe best rookie season ever. Let's be real, it was the best rookie season ever. Marcus Mariota, who's a great backup, or at least showed it last year. Josh Johnson and Sam Hartman. So KDot, it is over to you. You have 100 chips to play with. How many are you putting on the quarterback position?
17. All for Jaden Daniels. I wanted to go higher. In the first initial rungs of this, Jaden got 25. But I realized that I have more faith in you than anything else. Anything else. Maybe ever. More faith in you than gravity or air or whatever concept you want to fucking bring up. Earth is flat, in my opinion, unless JD5 tells me different. 17 chips.
17 chips. I have 19 chips on the quarterbacks because I mean, yeah, that's the thing. So, and this was also a very quick exercise. And if you had said 21, I'd be like 22 chips, and I'd have to quickly do math somewhere else. Listen, JD5 is him. So far, the reviews and reports from training camp, also went to one of the practices. He looks great. And he's taking that next step in leadership. It just came out that he's throwing people out of the huddle if they're not lining up properly. So now he is the one that people are accountable to, right? Mm-hmm. So he's taking that leadership step. He continues to improve. He's put on the muscle, and he's handling everything with the level of maturity that we are absolutely blessed with as fans, because that is the total package. Mariota, when he came in last season, did some great stuff. So 19 chips to the quarterbacks for me. And so to 17 for KDot. Over to the running backs, KDot. How many chips do you have here? It's going to be Brian Robinson Jr., Austin Eckler, Chris Rodriguez, Ja'Cory Krosky-Merritt, affectionately known as Bill, Kaz Allen, and Demetric Felton.
4 chips. I am not. It's not that I'm not high on these running. I mean, I guess I'm not that high on the running backs. A lot of it's going to hinge on what it is the rookie can do in like a thunder and lightning package when it comes to Brian Robinson. I liked Eckler in spots last year, but also we're talking about another year older. He couldn't necessarily stay healthy throughout the course of last season. He didn't look great over the course of the entire season, so I don't know. So it's like if the rookie can come on, then yeah, I definitely would have more faith in. Like if I heard, but anything that comes out of training camp from the running back position, I'm not really paying any attention to. I got to see them with the Pats and actually playing football. So, yeah, and I also think from the running back standpoint, I can't help but also know that it's influenced by what it is I think about the offensive line in the running. But if we're just running backs as a group, not what the running attack will look like, 4 chips.
4 chips. I have 7 on the running backs. So this, to me, by the way, we're hearing a lot of nice things from Bill. Yeah, a lot of nice things so far from the rookie 7th round pick, right? That now that the pads are on, now that there's a bit more hitting, still not full tackling, but you know, it sounds like Bill's doing a good job so far. You add in that Brian Robinson has his moments and is able to make some plays himself, and Austin Eckler, when healthy, is great. But same thing as you, KDot. Got to wait and see with these guys. They're dependent on an offensive line, making sure that the lanes can open up. So right now, I've only got 7 just in terms of a talent thing. So 7 chips over there. So
it's like if we were looking at Debo being what it is he's going to be in the backfield potentially, or Jaden's rushing ability itself too, then yeah, the number would be higher. But if just the running backs, prove it.
Yep. Prove it. Exactly right. Prove it. Earn some more chips there. Now the wide receivers. Now there are a lot of wide receivers. The first name, Terry McLaurin, who we will be talking about plenty after this. Deebo Samuel, Michael Gallup, Luke McCaffrey, Noah Brown, Jalen Lane, KJ Osborne, Ja'Cory Brooks, Jacoby Jones, Tay Martin, Chris Moore, and Michael, is it Strachan?
Every time I see it, I think it says Strahan. And
I think of that too. But anyway, KDot, over to you. How many fate chips do you have here, knowing what's going on with Terry?
All right, well, I did do this exercise with 1 numbers with Terry, 1 numbers without Terry, but I'll just save this position group for what it is as far as what looks like the difference with Terry or not Terry, according to my list. And with this particular position group, I am giving them a grand total of 14 chips. I like a lot of this group, especially if Terry's there. Now, if Terry's not there, it goes from 14 to 10 pretty quickly. Probably a little lower, but I do look. You remember as I'm telling everybody that I think Jalen Lane might be something to start going down the field. Huh? All right. Jalen looked like, I'm sorry, he looked like he might be something. And it's not that he's going to come out and light the world on fire. I don't think he's Malik fucking Neighbors, right? But it's like, if you have a Terry McLaurin, and if you have a Deebo Samuel, and if you got a Luke McCaffrey, it allows Jalen Lane to do some stuff with what his physical talents are. Like, if he's got a mismatch, you know how many times we listen to John Comrade, they're like, yeah, he was 2 steps behind the defense. It's like, that's what I want to hear. So, like, I feel great about the young guys in this group. But without Terry, you definitely start feeling a lot worse about it. And look, as much as I say about Deebo Samuel and what it is I think he can do from a wide receiver position, there's no denying he's a wide receiver. That's where he's classified as. He's getting paid. Mm-hmm. And I think what he brings to this offense is going to be lights out. So, like, if there's no Terry, do I feel as good? Of course not. 10 to 14. But I still like a lot of the guys that they have in that room.
Yeah, I think that's a good analysis, KDot. And on the subject of Jalen Lane, so I went to training camp on Sunday morning. Ended up going solo. I was sneezing like crazy. From that perspective, from an allergy perspective, not great. Probably should have taken an Allegra or something. It
sounded miserable, sir.
It did. But I will say this. Through all that, I was able to see Jalen Lane very clearly. And man, oh man, you weren't kidding. Like, when they were even doing the loose walkthroughs of, you know, the routes and stuff like that, everyone else was allowing the ball to come pretty close to their body or even body catch it. A couple would have it a little out here. Jalen was like grabbing it out of the air and bring, like, it was very different from what everybody else was doing. So forget the speed. The way he catches the ball is very different. And, you know, you hear about his quarterback play at Virginia Tech, and I'm all of a sudden like, no, I see what KDot's saying. I see what a lot of people are saying. I'm very high on Jalen Lane now. KDot, he's going to be good. He's going to be good pretty quickly as well. With that said, with the uncertainty with Terry, because that's a very big part of this, I've got 11 on the wide receivers. So I like Deebo Samuel. I like Jalen Lane. I don't know what we have beyond that. And even with Jalen Lane, he is a rookie. So I don't know what we will truly have until the pads come on and, you know, he makes a catch under the lights and stuff like that. But I expect him to do well. 11 is the highest I can go as long as we have uncertainty around Terry McLaurin, because, again, we'll talk more about him and some of the possible outcomes, but 11 it is for me. Over to the tight ends, where we've got Zach Ertz back here. We've got John Bates, Ben Sinnott, the Senator, Colson Yankoff, Lawrence Cager, Tyree Jackson, and Cole Turner. KDot, over to you. How many fate chips here?
7. Now, I want this to be a lot higher, and I think that, like, if I'm looking at the end of the season, if I were to, like, award chips based on, if we look at faith chips in the sense of, like, at the end of the season, if we are awarding chips to each position group as far as what the outcome was, like how well they did, I'd expect this to be higher. I want this to be higher than 7. I think Ben Sinnott has the ability to have this at higher 7. But based on the lack of anything that I saw last season and the hesitation to give him more work as the season goes on, this is very much kind of like in the running back group. You got to prove it to me, son. So, like, if he does, look, everybody knows how high I was on Ben way before the season started. But prior to him being announced on the team, you guys knew how much I like Ben Sinnott. But I just, if I'm looking at the rest of the group, John Bates solidify what it is he needs to be as far as his run block. Cool. Beyond that, I like Zach Ertz. I don't think you can ask him to be your number 1 tight end the entire season and expect, even if we got what we got last year, it wasn't great. Like, it was good for what it is that he did as a wily veteran that knows how to get open or kind of use leverage to a certain degree. But you want somebody that can actually take the ball and run with it somewhere. And that was not something he could do. So if I'm getting the same output from Zach, while I might feel good because it's Zach in that age, I'm not feeling great about the position group or what it's meaning to the future.
Yeah, I feel very comfortable with Zach Ertz as that security blanket, but asking yak of Zach Ertz is just, that's pointless, right? Like, he's going to catch it, and wherever he gets it, he's going to go down. And sometimes it'll get misspotted like it did against the Pittsburgh Steelers, and it'll even be back half a yard, and that'll end the game effectively. So Zach Ertz, I like a whole lot. I'm glad we brought him back. It was very important to KDot that we brought him back. Got to see it from Ben Sinnott. This is the year. So I'm in total agreement with you, KDot. No notes there. 7 for the tight ends. We match right there. Over to the offensive line that has been remade to an extent. You can see the name right there. Laramie Tunsil, who's going to be the starting left tackle. Josh Connerly, the first-round pick, who we're hoping will be the right tackle. Brandon Coleman going to kick into left guard. Tyler Biadasz, the starting center. Sam Cosmi, hopefully he's available sooner rather than later at right guard. But right now he's on ice. Michael Dieter, Julian Good-Jones, Trent Scott. I don't need to read all these names. But a whole lot of offensive linemen, a whole lot of depth. KDot, your chips here, please.
12 chips.
Okay.
Now, the way that I did it, I broke down. Yeah, I feel a lot better about this unit going into this season than I did last season, no doubt. When you're looking at starting left tackle being a project in Brandon Coleman, what entering the season, you can't feel that high as much as I loved his athleticism, but I just think him moving around stuff like that. Laramie Tunsil here on the offensive line, it just improves it tremendously for me. And if you're able to have Coleman either kicking inside or whatever, just not playing left tackle, I think it makes everything just that much better. But if I were to tell you the 12 chips, 9 are for pass pro, 3 are for run blocking. So that's where I'm at. I feel very high about this group's ability, especially with Jaden Daniels and what kind of athlete he is in protecting our quarterback. I don't necessarily know if that's going to do what it needs to do to allow some lanes to open up for our running backs. And that to me that's something I'm absolutely looking at, but I am very high on this group for pass pro.
Oh, I love that. I'm going to give you my chip total, and I need you to know that it may sound a little low, but it's because I think Jaden makes them better. So I've got 9 on them, which before I had 4. So it's more than double what I had last year. They exceeded expectations to me last year. Rewatching the NFC Championship game, it was like, oh, okay. No, they have certainly maxed out what they can do. Jaden is now running for his life. So you bring in a Laramie Tunsil. That's great. After that, we're hoping Josh Connerly can, who is a left tackle, play right tackle. That transition could take time. We are hoping that Brandon Coleman, who projects out to be a better guard based on his draft profile, is a better guard, but we don't know that yet. So there's still some moving pieces, and Sam Cosmi not fully healthy yet. That's why I have them at a 9. Additionally, you have spooked me a little bit with your all 22 reviews and the run game and not having a lot of faith in their ability to run block. So it ended up dropping the chips for me a little bit. So I've got that at 9. So if we quickly tally up the total number of chips on offense, I have 53 on offense, quarterback 19, running back 7, wide receiver 11, tight end 7, offensive line 9. KDot has 54. So we're much closer than last year. 54 chips on offense, 17 at quarterback, 4 at running back, 14 at wide receiver, 7 at tight end, 12 in offensive line. Any comments there on the offense as a whole before we move to the defense, KDot?
That's the thing, is like the offense is absolutely the team is being carried by Jaden Daniels. So this is why they come out above 50 for me, because he's the lightning rod of everything. None of this means anything if Jaden's not there at quarterback for me. As much as I might like Mariota, as much as I might like Sam Hartman, if I'm looking at what this team did last year, looking over the course of the entire season, it goes and ends with Jaden Daniels. So that's where I'm at.
Yeah. No, you know me, totally agree.
That's right.
Yeah. So let's go over to the defensive line, KDot, where once again, we got rid of Jonathan Allen. So that ended up getting some cap relief for us. But we maintained Deron Payne. Of course, Johnny Newton enters his second year. We made the signings for Eddie Goldman, Javon Kinlaw, Dietrich Wise. You see over there, Dorrance Armstrong is back. And then we still have some depth pieces like Sheldon Day, for example, Cleveland Farrell. And so, KDot, over to you. Number of fate chips here. Last year, you had 20. How many?
Yeah, 11. So now the 11 sounds harsh compared to last season, but you got to remember last season I thought that was like the only position group worth a damn going into the year. So and they ended up not necessarily being that, but the days of Jonathan Allen, Deron Payne, and it's very different now. Which is what I'm saying. I love the guys that look. The more and more that I start looking at, the more and more I'm like looking at Javon Kinlaw, like what it is they could possibly do with them. The more I look at that depth and the way they'd be able to rotate stuff, and looking at the big bodies that they have now to be able to play with the physicality that they need to play with. I do think the rushing defense is going to be better, and more importantly, the reason to get the chips is what I think they'll. I don't necessarily think that anybody here on the defensive line, this line group itself, is going to have some like major Pro Bowl season. If anything, maybe it's Newton or Payne in the middle. But what I'm high on with this group is their ability to allow our linebackers to eat.
Yeah. And that's what some of those signings were brought in to do, exactly what KDot said. They're bigger bodies. They're able to maintain space, those space eaters, and then the backers can come in and do their thing. I've also got 11 chips on these guys. So I had 18 last year. You know, we think about all those first round picks on the line. No longer really the case. And Javon Kinlaw has to prove it, right? I'm excited about it. I think that while the league views it as an overpay, I think he'll end up being fine with that contract, but he has to prove it. He has to prove it first and foremost. And then Dietrich Wise, I think, is a sneaky name that we're going to end up loving as the season progresses over there. And look out for Johnny Newton, one of the names on defense that I've been saying look out for. He's fully healthy this offseason relative to last season, entering his rookie year. Expect big things from him. Over to the linebacker, where star-studded Bobby Wagner, Von Miller, two future Hall of Famers, Frankie Louvu, the way he's playing, man, who knows what he can be. And then you got Jordan McGee, Kane Medrano, Dominique Hampton, Cam Arnold, Nick Bellore, Ale Cajo. Those three names in particular, Dominique Hampton, Jordan McGee, and Kane Medrano. We had that featured as a matchup to look out for during training camp and preseason. Kid out over here, how many chips?
14. I still love this group, and then you add Von Miller to the mix. Here's the thing: is like you hear 14 chips, whatever, in the grand scheme of 100. You're like, all right, whatever. What I like to do at this particular point in time is combine the linebackers and the defensive line because of how they're going to work in tandem, which brings me to a grand total of 25 chips among that position groups. Because I'm pretty high on this group getting some shit done. So like, I just think what it is they're going to be able to do is have the space eaters and being able to have Von Miller in some different packages, not just on third down from what it is that I'm kind of looking at. There's just some things that they'll be able to do, and allowing Frankie Louvu with another year in this system, even more batshit crazy. If anybody noticed, he got more batshit crazy as the season went along. So I'm just, Lord knows where he's at now. So like, I'm all about it. And I do think Bobby Wagner, as much as I might have issue, like I'm looking for the next guy to step up. And I do think, I'm very high on Kane Medrano just from a speed standpoint. I just love the individual things that this linebacker group brings. And I do think you have an ability, if the defensive line is working the way they need to, and when we get to the secondary, if the secondary is doing what they need to, it allows the linebackers to kind of be stars here, and stars in a lot of different kind of ways.
We got two second-team All-Pro guys in Bobby Wagner and Frankie Louvu over here. Kid, you'd mentioned them being stars. They are. And they add Von Miller to the mix as well. And I would anticipate that between Jordan McGee, Dominique Hampton, Kane Medrano, one of them does step up. And now I'm looking at a really nice group. So let the stars be the stars. I got 18 chips on these guys. Because, you got two future Hall of Famers that still got it, that are still going to produce. And Frankie Louvu just burst onto the scene when he was finally under the lights last year. And I got a lot of faith in his ability to be able to move around, sort of be that joker on defense. Micah Parsons wishes he was in Dan Quinn's system because Frankie is living Micah's best life right now. I just love this unit. I could not give them more chips than Jaden Daniels, but they are the stars of the defense. So I've got 18 on them, KDot. Over to the defensive backs. An intriguing group here. Marshawn Lattimore, who we traded for in the middle of last season, didn't really perform to what he wanted or what fans wanted, but now he's healthy. He's looking sharp right now. You got Mikey Sanders still, who might be having the best camp out of anybody. He was spectacular when I was over there, KDot. Trey Amos, second-round pick, but if you listen to Adam Peters, they would have taken him in the first. So getting him as they did, incredible. Jonathan Jones brought in from the Patriots, a few undrafted guys. Noah Igbenogany is back. Percy Butler just signed a one-year deal. Jeremy Reeves, Tyler Owens getting some run with the ones. Quan Martin, Will Harris. This is a group, KDot. How many chips do you have with the DBs here?
12. Grand total of 12. I will say this. I did break it down between how I feel about the cornerbacks and how I feel about the safeties at this particular point in time. 9-3. I feel a lot higher about the cornerbacks than I do at the safeties at this point, just from a wait and see sort of thing. I just want to see what's happening as far as the secondary goes. When I look at the cornerbacks, the combination of having Mikey Sanders still being able to go play in the slot with what I've been hearing as far as Noah Igbenogany looking like a dude, and we saw what he did last season. I mean, to add the depth piece there and knowing that if anybody's going to rotate out, Mikey can always go play on the outside now. He's proven that compared to last year, and Noah Igbenogany be able to come in and go play in the slot depending on what the matchups look like. That to me brings us so far forward than where we were last year, where you had to basically beg and plead who's on the field. Who's on the fucking field? If certain guys are on the field, shit's gonna go bad, right? So like that to me is where I'm like, I don't have to worry about there not being a position. Like all Marshawn Lattimore has to do, in my opinion, to make this a success. Well, the contract and the trade, there's a lot that I'd like to see happen, but in order to make me just happy with what it is, the defense is middle of the pack. And I think he's better than that. I think if he gives me middle of the pack and Trey Amos shows me flashes and Mikey shows me confidence and consistency at the slot, I love this fucking group. And what I especially love about this fucking group is when you add that front, the front seven to what it is I think they'll be able to do from a pass rush standpoint, and the idea that all you got to do is cover somebody for a little bit, guys, just a little bit, before maybe a pass rush or something gets to them and gives them some opportunities to actually catch the fucking football. And the thing that I do actually like about this crew compared to the last crew, we got guys who catch the fucking football.
Yeah, well, we definitely do. And so with the DBs here, I'm excited about these boys, KDot. I am very, very excited
They've
about
been kind
the
of the news in training camp.
Yeah. Yeah, the news in training camp and also just getting to see them. They look confident. They look very, very confident right now. I'm so curious what it would look like if Terry were also practicing. Just to see how they look, because I think that does change, how they end up playing against these guys. I've got 12 chips on them as well. And so I like the secondary, or I'd like rather the corners a whole lot, just like you, K-Dot, between Lattimore. This all assumes health, but Lattimore, Sanders still in the slot, and Trey Amos, who continues to get rave reviews, at the other corner position. I'm excited for this. Jonathan Jones, very serviceable, especially in the backup. Noah played well in the slot last season, and now he is also a back. So I really like what we're doing over here. And Mikey can always rotate if one of the starting corners is struggling, because he did that last year. And then Noah can come in. So, I really like where the secondary is. And once again, look out for Tyler Owens. I think the way that the offseason has been going so far, KDot, he's going to get on the field. I think he is going to get on the field during the regular season. I think he's so much closer to becoming a lock on this team. He's a lot of reporters are coming up being like, man, this guy, he looks more confident. He's moving faster. Go ahead.
No, I'm sorry. I'm just enthusiastically agreeing with you, because I really, really want Tyler Owens to be a guy. Like what you saw in the preseason last year is like, hold on. If he can do that and do it consistently, it's the guys that you look on defense just stand out. Like they're the dudes are like, hey, he's always around the football. Mm-hmm. Hey, he hits pretty hard. It's what you saw with Frankie Louvu in the Carolina tape. It's like, that's what I saw with the Tyler Owens thing. And it's like, oh, so they're saying he'd get more playing time if he was just more consistent and learn more. Oh, and that's what he's been doing this offseason? Oh, that's good. That's good.
Yeah, exactly. And Quan Martin, being the ball hawk that he is, want to hear more about Will Harris, honestly. But we will. I mean, we're going to have joint practices soon. We're going to have the preseason game. Plenty of time for all that. And let's conclude with the special teams, of course, which is led by the GOAT, Tress Way. And then we've got Tyler Ott at long snapper, and Matt Gay, who signed the 1 year, I want to say about $4.25 million. That is fully guaranteed. So we presumably, with that money, have solved the kicker position. KDot, how many chips do you have here?
8, 7 of which belong to Tress Way.
8. You have one left?
Do I? Yeah. Light it on fire.
I mean, I'll take the chip.
No, there's no chance. I didn't do the math wrong. Fuck that.
Excel is saying you have 99.
Well, I'm gonna pull up a calculator on my phone right now and do my own math while you talk about what it is you think about 15.
Sounds good. I got a 6 on special teams. It's all with Tress Way. I'm sorry. Every single time we trot out for a field goal, I'm nervous. Maybe Matt Gay fixes that immediately, but he needs to first and foremost. And based on our kicking luck in the past few years, outside of Greg Zuerlein. Shout out Greg Zuerlein for hitting that 54-yarder, allowing us to have pick 2 overall. That's the best kick we've had in some time. Him and Zane Gonzalez. Those are the 2 biggest kicks in the last 10 years or so. So I need to see it from a kicker before I throw any more chips over there. So I got 6. It's all Tressway, basically.
100%.
Yeah.
I keep thinking back to, I don't know, we've probably said this on this pod at some point. Have you ever trusted a kicker here? Truly trust them?
No.
Same here. Not once.
Yeah.
Motherfucker, it's 99. You know what? Give Jaden 18. All right.
We're moving Jaden up to 18.
Just give him 18. Fuck it.
All right. So rounding out the Faith chips over here, KDot, I'll do your last year to your this year. Okay. So last year at quarterback, you had 7 chips. That has moved up to 18. And one of those chips, very fresh. Then the running backs, 10 last year, down to 4 this year. Wide receivers, 18 last year, now 14. Tight end, 8, then 7, so consistent there. And the offensive line was 6 last year, doubled up to 12. Defensive line, 20 last year, down to 11. Linebackers, 15 last year, 14 this year. DBs, 6 last year, also doubled, 12 this year. And the special teams, 10 and 8. How are you feeling about that?
I feel pretty good. I mean, it's the thing is the faith chips exercise. It's very hard when you're going over the numbers to make it feel as though faith is what the output was necessarily, or it's supposed to be tied to some sort of production sort of thing. So it almost feels like right or wrong sort of aspect in my head. The only thing I look at that I look through that entire list be like, you got Jaden wrong, bud. You should have bumped that up. Had more faith. You should have had more faith. But beyond that, I feel pretty good. It's just, we're talking about slice of a pie, right? And every once you're just gonna feel differently about certain groups than you do about other groups. I think that, I like where I'm at.
Yeah, no, I think it's certainly much better at the quarterback position. But no, jokes aside, it is a whole lot better, I think. And then I also like that we've sort of converged. Last year we were very different, and now as we're doing this pod more together, sort of having that mind melt, and we are beginning to see more similar results. So last year, quarterback, I had 12. That is up to 19 this year. Running backs, I had 16 chips last year. Bad call. Down to 7. Wide receiver, 11 both years. Tight ends, 9 last year, 7 this year. Offensive line, just 4 last year. They did much better than that. 9 this year. Defensive line, 18 last year, 11 this year. Linebackers, 14 last year, 18 this year. Von Miller, a big piece of that, and seeing Bobby do it really helped. Frankie's a dog. And then the DBs, 6 last year, 12 this year, also doubled, just like KDot there. And special teams, 10 last year, drops to 6 because of the kicking woes. But no problems with Tressway or Tyler Ott, just to be clear. Those guys are great. So that concludes the Faith Chips exercise. And now, something we would love to happen, something we would love to have faith in, is Terry McLaurin.
Oh, give us your faith chips, though, fuckers. I want to see how right and wrong you are.
Oh, yeah. And you guys did it last year, and it was awesome that we got to interact with that in the comment mailbag.
Yeah, plus I don't want to just delaying the inevitable about talking about Terry again, which I'm starting to get a little sad.
Fair. I mean, let's do it. All right. So first things first, last episode, we talked about how far apart these guys are. And that I'm sounding the alarm bells. I'm terrified. This seems like a situation that is not going away anytime soon. We got more information suggesting the same. KDot, when I asked you to put a date on it, you were saying, yep, mid-August, late August. So more or less in that same boat, or in a similar boat at least. This is scary stuff. So here's what's happened in the meanwhile. Right. So we find out from Adam Schefter, who goes on the Pat McAfee Show. And he goes that Terry is looking at DK's number, but he's looking for maybe considerably more than that. Adam Schefter did say, I think. So you never know, but he tends to know. He's typically correct. So that comes out. And just a few hours later, Courtland Sutton, a 29-year-old wide receiver who has had up and down quarterback play, finally gets a rookie quarterback, plays well. 4 years, $92 million, $41 million guaranteed. Absolutely kills the value for Terry McLaurin if you believe those are comparable wide receivers. And I'm sure the team is making that point. In the meanwhile, Tony Pauline, who is a writer, I'd honestly not heard the name, so sorry, But he talked to a bunch of league insiders and he said, well, what do you think is going to happen over here? And they said that they think it's going to happen sooner rather than later. Okay, that's encouraging, but I don't think they're in the building. And then 2-year or 3-year deal. And we just have a lot of guaranteed money in there. So KDot, all that's going on. We've had an extra week to learn more about this situation and get more info. And over to you. What are your thoughts on what's going on right now?
I think it's what we've been saying is where the number is as far like I think that Terry asking for $35 million, which is something that got floated a couple of weeks, I think that's probably accurate. I do think that's accurate. I think that that's where he thinks his value is. And I think he also thinks he should be paid probably some sort of hazard tax or something for the fact that he had to be here for as long as he did with the bullshit. No, I'm not giving Terry McLaurin $35 million. I just can't. I wouldn't do it. Like I would if there's no salary cap, but because there's a salary cap, I'm not doing it. It's just as much as there are examples of a lot of wide receivers that still make it past the age of 30, there's still a lot more situations where you see a dude at 32 years old that's like on his last fucking leg or doesn't get the additional like I'm not necessarily saying it's Terry McLaurin, but like $35 million, even if I'm looking over what it is he's done here, if I am paying off of previous production or whatever, right? I love Terry. I think he's a try hard, like get shit done type of dude. But I mean, we're talking about like quarterback play. All right, I see Terry McLaurin. I see what he was able to do when it came to the terrible quarterbacks and all that kind of shit. And he deserves a lot of credit for it, right? If DK Metcalf is there, does it look different? Is it more? Is it less? I couldn't tell you. If Cortland Sutton's here, knowing what he had to deal with in Denver as far as quarterbacks is here, is it better? Is it different? Is it what? Cortland Sutton was looked in most people's minds as just a number 2 receiver behind Jerry Jeudy for those years, right? Now I was much higher on Cortland Sutton than I was on Jerry Jeudy because I like the consistency, I think, of Sutton more than I did like the ups and downs of Jeudy, but it's the way they're looking at as far as the talent level you have compared to like what it is they think you might be able to do. And the physicality is going to happen with it. How fast you run is going to happen with it. Your age is going to happen with it. There's a lot of shit that kind of determines where you're at. And I've always thought of Terry McLaurin as like underrated is all fucking get out, but underrated in the sense of like, he's surprising that he gets the shit that he gets done all the time. And it's, yeah, man, I think in a fair world, if it was a fair world, he'd be getting paid a fuck ton. He'd be getting paid in the upper echelon of receivers just because of that aspect of what it is he had to do and what it is he means to our quarterback that meant so much. But I still think the sweet spot is right there at that 30 number. I still look at it as 28, 29 looks decent to me for Terry McLaurin. But if he's saying, look, I'm not even entertaining it unless you're north of 30, then yeah, show up or don't. Like you were getting to that point. I mean, he showed up, but the hold, everybody knows hold in compared to hold out. If you've been following the NFL PA thing, you know all about that shit. But it's unfortunate, and I feel sad because this is the guy I wanted to see retire in the burgundy and gold. And I'm at a place where it's like, like I said, I'm an evangelist for the team mission above all other things. And that means there are no exceptions to that rule. As much as I might in my heart want it, I just think there are no exceptions to the rule.
Yeah. So I think that 30 million number, I said it last week, I'm saying it again, is I am an elite wide receiver if I cross this threshold.
Yeah.
I think Terry views himself that way. I know a lot of people are getting after Buddy Baker. They look at his client list and they go, okay, like, can he handle this type of negotiation? I think this is Terry. That's what I think. I don't think that I think Buddy Baker is like, okay, this is what my client wants. I don't think he's forcing him. I'm just on the other side of it. I don't think he's forcing Terry to look at that 35 number, 34 number. I think Terry himself wants it. And so I'm once again very nervous. I think the 30 million number matters. And I do not see Terry taking less unless the Cortland Sutton deal spooked him. That's the only way I see him taking 29 a year, 28 a year. Outside of that, no. And I don't think the team is going to get to 3 years, 90 as of right now. I hope they do. Because if they do, I think that's like you're saying, KDot, a good spot to be able to go, okay, we got to that 30 million.
Everybody's been happy.
Yeah. It's both sides can be a little unhappy, but happy ultimately, right? Like you said it much better than that, whatever the saying was. But that's the number we need to get to. And as of right now, I'm still not sure we get there. This front office moves very differently from ones we've had in the past. It's a good thing. It is a good thing. But this is also a bit of a double-edged sword from the emotional standpoint for fans, because Terry's been our guy for so long. I still keep saying that first 3rd and 6 that we had against the Tampa Bay Buccaneers when he caught the ball, when it was Terry McLaurin that caught the ball, it was such a different energy than a De'Ami Brown catching it, than a Olamide Zaccheaus catching it, than a Jamison Crowder catching it, heck, even a Jaden Daniels scramble. Terry catching that ball woke the whole fan base up, the whole team on the sideline. Yeah, I'm nervous, kid. I'm nervous.
I mean, that's the thing. He's been the only one that's like consistently been worth a damn. And we've had him here. I mean, the thing is, we just have longevity with him. It's the same thing with Tress Way. We feel the same way, right? It's like you got guys that have been around long enough and they perform, so you root for them, and that's what it boils down to. Look, I still think there's room for this. I still came back, and I still think the 28-29 number works if you finagle some stuff with the guarantees.
Got to be high.
And that to me is like that. That's where I always kind of thought that like the fair set would be, is like, hey, we're not giving you that, but to make you feel better, percentage of guarantees is going to be in the upper echelon of the receivers there. That makes us unhappy, but it could make you happy because you got money to put in your fucking pocket and you don't have to worry about whether or not you get hurt or anything. There you go. And it's like, that to me is where it is that I would be kind of looking at. The only reason I made the face about the agent convo is that to me is an indictment on the agent. Like, if you can't wrangle your client or get your client to buy into what's happening, and you already know that, like, I didn't want to say it, but I don't like the way that Terry's side has handled this so far. I'm just not a fan. I didn't like the Eastern Motors presser. I wasn't a fan of that. I think that, like, it'd be one thing if I saw the team was shitting on Terry in the media, as we've seen other teams do when it comes to some of their star athletes, or even here in Washington, we've seen that shit kind of happen when it comes to some of these negotiations. I haven't seen anything on the Washington Commanders side that makes me think that they're handling this terribly. And I still think, as I said from the very onset of this thing, when we talked about the Terry from the first day, when you weren't worried at all, I said, hey,
I was not.
I don't think this is easy, because I don't see an easy number that you just get to, unless you're just like, fuck it, give them the money. And I think
that's why I thought it'd be easy. I was like, okay, 13 touchdowns, 1,300, or 16 touchdowns, 1,300 yards, just give them the money.
All right, look, I'll tell you this. This is what fans, I think, need to kind of conceptualize in their brain. Okay, if this was Vinny Serrato or Bruce Allen, Terry's already picked.
Well, I think that's why Buddy Baker. Like, this is where it's different. This is the new front office. Mm-hmm. There's a split amongst teams of which teams are like cool with the new wide receiver markets, which ones are not. It looks like we're on the side of nope. No. DK got overpaid. We're not doing that too.
And I'm with them, because like I've gone off of like, I don't think I love wide receivers. I don't think you have to pay for an upper echelon receiver to make you a Super Bowl contender. I just don't believe that. To me,
I don't either, by the way. Like, right. That's sort of the frustrating thing.
Is you can make it up in the watch. So, like, my point, if it's Bruce Allen and Vinny Serrato, I think the deal is already done. But that should give you pause. Like, that should give you pause. So, like, I am all for this. Should be a fucking process. They should not hand this money over to anybody just to do it. You've got to make sure it fits within the confines of what the mission is. I would feel a certain way if they just handed it to him. You're supposed to do the negotiation aspect of this. He's already under contract. I want a dick in the fucking front office. I need somebody that thinks about it from a business perspective. Somebody that looks at all that. And the thing is, like, I see Adam's at least human, because he looked depressed in the fucking press conference. He didn't look happy about the situation. But what I need him to say, like, look, I'm going to check my feelings down here. I'm going to put my emotions down here. This is a business. And they told me I have these amount of dollars to build a contender. I was in the NFC fucking championship game last year. Terry McLaurin had a giant piece to do with that. But if I want more bites at this apple, I have a plan that I have to stick to. Terry, goddammit, I thought you were going to do this, and I asked for this. What the fuck? We need some time to think about this thing for you. And then that's what happens. It takes time. So, like, I was never in a worried state as much as it just feels sad right now that it just hasn't gotten done. I want to hear the Terry McLaurin camp stories. But if I'm even going even further from a devil's advocate standpoint of looking at the positivity of any of this, because I think this is how negotiations are supposed to happen, I also think this has kind of been a good thing for the team.
I agree.
So, like, I don't think you hear about the Jaden huddle thing if you got Terry's leadership in the huddle. I like the Jaden's kind of stepping up and doing some shit that I'm hearing about at training camp. I'm hearing he's regulating the huddle in a certain way. Where I've always known that Jaden's like been a leader, of course, and he's been vocal, of course. But that part, I don't think I've heard that. That always seemed like more of a Terry thing. Get in line and get the fuck out. Like that seems to me that's what Eric Bieniemy got in his ass about, right? Because he's the guy that does stuff. I like what this is doing. I like that I'm hearing a lot about Jalen Lane, who's getting opportunities he might not have gotten if you got another guy in the room. So, like, to me, everything to me has been kind of positive about this thing, except for the Terry presser. Because right now, at this particular point, what would I feel? I'd be like, yeah, they're working on a deal. Like, they're working on a deal.
Yeah. And so, a couple things there. But to your point, KDot, I think right now, because it's early in training camp, it is a good thing, right? Jaden is coming out of his shell even more as his confidence continues to show. I don't think it's growing because I always think it's been sky high, but I think it's beginning to show, right? And so now he's taking control of the huddle. He has a very good chemistry already with Deebo Samuel. It is developed like that. Same thing with Jalen Lane. Same thing with Luke McCaffrey. Early on, you hear about Ja'Cory Brooks doing well. So these guys are getting more opportunities, exactly what KDot said. I think the reason Terry did the Easter Motors thing is because literally no one was talking to each other. So I think he got frustrated and he stepped up to be able to say, hey, I want to get moving on this, right? That's what I think happened. Here's the thing. They're still not talking, KDot, right? So the team is continuing to wait, is the understanding right now. And I want to ask you, if they continue to wait, they're like, eventually Terry will cave, let's say. Do you think a trade is on the board?
I think it has to be.
Yeah. And I agree.
I think you'd have to. Like, the idea that Terry's contract expires and he walks off into the sunset somewhere, fuck you. Like, I'm not, under no circumstances is that okay. So what you want to do is you want to strike as soon as you can. So if you find a trade partner that says, 32 mil for Terry, 35 mil for Terry. No big deal for us. We'll do it. Then you're like, okay, what are you offering? What draft picks are you offering? Or what players will we get in the locker room to do this? And are we going to run it back with Jaden in this wide receiver group? Depending on what the compensation is, do I feel as though we are a better team this year without Terry? Fuck no. But do I feel good about what the longer process for the team is? Potentially. Like that's where I'm at. Like you've got to get the assets right. So like if there wasn't people having conversations about the trade. As a matter of fact, I'd even go as far as to say, I'd be ashamed if Adam Peters isn't thinking about it. I'd hate it if he wasn't thinking. Now, there's a difference between thinking about it and picking up the phone and hearing your star wide receiver hearing that you're picking up the phone. Different thing. But you should already be thinking about it. You have to be. That's your job. So that's where I'm at. I don't want this to happen, guys. I don't. I just think this is exploring a sucky situation. And the suckiness of the situation is there is nothing to properly comp this to. You look at Cortland Sutton, all 29 years old, third contract, this, that, and the other. He's a second receiver. Like, he finally got the top gig. It ain't the same thing. And if you're Terry, you're like, don't compare me to him. And if you're Terry, don't really compare me to DK. I'm better than DK. You're like, well, you think you're better than DK. You might get better numbers than DK, but we think DK runs faster and jumps higher and can do things that you can't do. We're going to pay him more. Plus, you got Pittsburgh just fucking starving. That's their situation, not our situation. So what do you want? Like, there's a difference in a lot of the things that are happening here. Like, you look at Pittsburgh, like their quarterback situation with Aaron Rodgers, they don't even have the quarterback of the future on their fucking roster. They can do some stupid shit. Not to mention, they want to make a run with Aaron Rodgers. They'll overpay for anybody to get in the room with Aaron Rodgers to go make it happen. They're desperate for it. We're not desperate. We're building something from the beginning.
And it's got to be said that the way DK got the contract was he got traded, right? He was in Seattle, and then with the trade, they end up going, we will give you what you're looking for. Right. And so that context is also very important. This front office moves differently, which is why I brought up the possibility of a trade, right? Because Adam Schefter had talked about it on Get Up briefly. and my wheels started turning, and I was like, ah, shit. He's right. I know that the team right now is saying, no, we're not picking up the phone. We're not talking to anybody. And I do believe that right now. I do. But it can certainly get to a point where they do. It can certainly get to a point where they go, hey, if we feel Terry's not going to play, right, then what's the point, right? Then what's the point in just having him here holding out? Or we haven't paid him. That's going to be a distraction over the course of the whole season. Does it make sense to have Terry with the distraction, or do we just cut bait now, get some value back, and then we have an extra maybe first or second round pick in the draft this coming season? It's an awkward one because my biggest priority, KDot, is Jaden Daniels' development, right? And the idea that we could trade Terry McLaurin, which as of right now, not happening, but that we could trade Terry McLaurin, who was his number one target last year, far and away when we were walking through those numbers last year, is insane to me, right? But it is now, it's increasingly becoming a possibility as more time passes.
I don't think it's that insane. I just don't. Like, that's my thing is like, I think the only insane piece is our heart and what it is we feel for Terry McLaurin. I think every other thing makes sense. Like, look, I don't know. We talked about early on in training camp. I'm sorry. I love the stories about Jaden and what he's doing in the in the huddle, right? Like, there's a part of me that says that, like, dude, you're going to have a long career. And I expect you to have, and look, you said that the top priority for you is Jaden Daniels' development. Yes. I'm not necessarily saying that that's not true. I'm probably with you on that. But the way I look at it is different. My goal is a Super Bowl. I think the Super Bowl comes through development of Jaden Daniels. Yeah. But I also think part of that comes with you're going to face adversity. And I like him stepping up in other ways and finding the idea that he's now having a relationship with Deebo Samuel, that him and Jalen Lane are already fucking tight. We know about Luke McCaffrey from last year. They're even tighter now. The Sam Hartman, like the way that the locker room was moving, right? They're building something that's bigger than any one or two players, period. So as much as last year, Terry was absolutely crucial to what it is that we were building because we didn't have anything. What I'm saying right now is that I would love to have him in the building. Everybody should. He's the most talented receiver on the fucking roster, and he's the consummate professional and not a teammate. Who doesn't want that on the team? Everybody should want that, right? But does Terry not being here actually hurt the development of Jaden Daniels? I don't necessarily think so if I'm looking long term. I do know his stats will probably be better this year with a Terry McLaurin. I would absolutely say that. But would he necessarily learn how to, okay, rookie wide receiver there, we're in the game's on the line, I need to give him a pep talk. I need to get his mind right for this particular thing. And then he has to do that he wouldn't necessarily do it. I'm okay with adversity right now because I'm looking 5, 6 years, 7 years down the line.
No, and I take your point on, and I actually like I'm calling it spin. I like the spin that it is, it can be useful for him to face adversity early on and be able to overcome that because long-term it serves him better.
Right.
And I do think that he is very, very confident. And I do think that he is more than strong enough. This is my opinion of him, more than strong enough to be able to handle that type of adversity. We're still dealing with 1 year of NFL play, right? So if he then has, let's say, a dinged second year, not injury-wise, he just doesn't play very well because Terry's gone. That gives me a little bit of pause as to why we even made that a possibility. That's sort of my point, because even with Patrick Mahomes, he had 2 years of Tyreek Hill, maybe 3, I can't remember, but it was a minimum of 2. And then they ended up trading him once they knew, oh, our guys like that. But it was 2 years of that. Mm-hmm. And they'd won a Super Bowl. So then it was, oh, okay, fine. We feel comfortable moving on from him. We need to address the defense. We've got this stud quarterback. I feel we have a stud quarterback, but it's also just 1 year of it. So the first 2 years are so important to me that they're good. After year 2, if you want to start finagling stuff, you know what? Be my fucking guest. But after 1 year, I think it's a bit excessive. So I do think that ultimately, I think both sides find a way. But we're talking like 55-45. That's how I feel right now.
Listen, you dropped Tyreek Hill's name. When they won the Super Bowl, how old was he and what contract was he on?
The second contract, he was much younger.
He's in Miami for the third. So like that's what I'm saying. Is like there is I had this thought exercise. I was down with a couple of friends down in South Carolina. We were talking about football, and the conversation got brought up. It had nothing to do with Terry McLaurin, but then I thought about Terry McLaurin afterwards. Who are your favorite quarterback wide receiver tandems of all time?
If you're actually asking right now, I love.
Who do you think the best?
Oh, Moss Brady.
No Super Bowls.
Oh, you're going this route. Okay, yeah, there I agree.
Tons of those cases.
Yeah,
right?
There are many.
Like Marvin Harrison, Peyton Manning. How long that shit take? Like
it took time. Burrow, Chase still taking time. They've missed playoffs,
right? And they kind of came in the lead together. So like there is an angle of like,
Jalen Hurts, AJ Brown.
Okay,
I'm just saying, it goes both ways.
100%. But then they're also got like, even when you look at some of the situations where it's like, okay, you look at the best quarterback wide receiver tandems, it's usually guys that came in the league together or very similar to being together, or you got dudes that
I'm going to push back. Sorry, I thought a bit more about it.
Okay, wide receivers that are clearly better than the quarterback in the case of Michael Irving and Troy Aikman. Like there is situations like that. But like if we're looking at the upper echelon, it's what Joe Montana and Jerry Rice. Is there who else are we comparing?
Yeah,
like
that's pretty fucking good.
It's dope. But do we have another comparison? Like
Bradshaw and Lynn Swann. No. But listen, what I would say. By the way, John Elway, Rod Smith was a thing. You should look at Rod Smith's numbers. They were nice. I just want to say that
how long was Elway in the league?
In the last few years, KDot, like, and by few years I mean like 20, that was so Patriots driven, right? That they steamrolled so many teams that I think would have. We're seeing it now with like the Bills, the Ravens, etc. That like there are these really, really good teams that are going against an all-timer right now in the Kansas City Chiefs. And so many teams went against the all-timer New England Patriots that we then go, oh, maybe you just can't win with the big-time wide receiver, right?
No.
But that's what ends up developing as a narrative.
No, fuck that. That's not what I'm saying. I'm saying don't let that be the end all be all. Like you can't prioritize it. I'm not saying it's not right. Look, do I like Patrick Mahomes with a Rashee Rice compared to not having Rashee Rice? Yeah, I like him with Rashee Rice. Like, do I prefer Tom Brady with or without Randy Moss? With Randy Moss, of course. Yeah, right. But what you're saying is like if we're talking about the fundamentals of the game and the way the game works, right? What do we talk about? Complementary football. And when it comes to complementary football, you need to have a defense. That's a priority. We still got moves to make there. And then on the offense, you got to make sure the trenches are where they need to be. You need a running game. You need to be able to move and get the clock and keep the clock running in certain steps. You still need to be able to score. It's fucking football. But those things, as far as the complementary football piece, are the most important aspects of it. Anything you add on top of that to me is the formula. If you can do those things, you got a shot, right? And then once you got a shot, what can you do to pad your stats over that shot? Right now, we were in the NFC Championship game with Terry McLaurin, but we were in year one of a complete recalibration that was basically that was a rebuild, right? So they did the rebuild. They're in the second year of a fucking rebuild. We are the oldest team in the National Football League by average age. No one is a priority over the long-term success of the team. I hate it. I fucking hate this.
You think I love it? Yeah, I absolutely hate this right now. We've done so many Terry topics in the past 6 weeks, and I was pushing back at the very beginning because I was like, surely this will get taken care of. Just without any thought, surely this will get taken care of. The vibes are high. They know what they're doing, whatever. Here we are.
Got to take your emotions out of it, man. It's why when people think that it's like cliches exist because they're legit most of the time. When you hear the players talk about it, and they're like, that's the business side of this. I'm not talking about the business side of this. That's what this is. And for fans, because we're not getting paid, like all of our feelings are wrapped up in our fucking money, right? So like at the end of the day, we feel the way we feel about these players, and you should feel upset about Terry McLaurin not being in the burgundy and gold. You're a fucking asshole if you're not upset about Terry McLaurin not being in the burgundy and gold. It still doesn't mean that your heart can't get broken sometimes, and it might be better for you.
Yeah, nope. The other side of discomfort is growth. But anyway, it's a little shittier when it's not your choice. So here we are. So KDot, before we move on to our second side piece teams, as of right now, we did this a lot with like the 2024 NFL draft. As of right now, what quarterback do you think we take? As of right now, what do you think happens with the Terry McLaurin situation?
I think it comes back at 28, 29. I think Terry comes to the table. I think the guarantees are pretty high.
Okay. The reason I'm nervous is because I don't know if the team's going to get to 30. I think if the team does get to 30, we're looking at 3 years, 90. 2 of the years are guaranteed. We all just have ourselves a day. That's it.
I will add another caveat. I think he's gone in 2 years. I don't think there's any chance he's still in Washington to finish that game.
No, you know what's super shitty is I totally agree with you.
Yeah.
And that hurts. That hurts. But yeah, as of right now, because while a deal could get done, we already have such a clear look at how the values are different. And wouldn't surprise me if in off season. Thanks, Terry. See ya.
Can I ask you a quick sidebar question? Just
obviously.
Tangible sidebar. You ever work with family or close friends?
Yes.
Have you ever been in a managerial role with family or fresh?
It's never been formal enough for that to be the case. So thankfully, no.
You see the thankfully part.
Yes.
It fucking sucks.
It sucks.
Right?
Yeah.
When you have somebody you actually like and you're like, dog, I can't pay you that, or dog, you need to show up one time. Just because we're boys, you need to fucking. You never want those because now there are feelings involved. But that's why you have Adam Peters, your GM. He's not Dan Quinn. He's not Joe Witt. He's not Cliff Kingsbury. He's not Jaden Daniels. He's supposed to be the dick.
I know. It just sucks. I'm getting used to. I'm getting used to adults in the room. Okay. I'm used to dysfunction. Sue me. That's where I'm at right now.
I get it.
All right. We can talk about this all day. We already second side piece team. So guys, here's the deal. KDot and I, as we continue talking about the Commanders, we also are just NFL fans in general. We did the side piece episode as a nice little break from, first off, the dregs of the summer. Man, oh man, the wait till training camp was insane. So we did a side piece episode last year. It was a lot of fun. We would rib each other about the Panthers and Falcons respectively. But the rule was 7 wins or fewer for them. And so as a reminder, I have the New England Patriots. KDot has the Las Vegas Raiders this year. We decided to spice things up because we still have some feelings around the 2024 draft class and the quarterbacks there. So KDot, you have a new side piece team, no longer with a floor of or ceiling of 7 wins, excuse me. Would you like to tell the people who your new side piece team is in addition to the Las Vegas Raiders?
The Kansas City Chiefs. See, I believe in this young kid, Patrick Mahomes. Everybody knows where this is going. Like, if you know me, I'm a football fan, and outside, I will always root for the LA teams unless they're playing against my team. That's just the thing I do. I like the Chargers. I like the Rams. It's the thing I do. It's just baked in to shit. Okay. Maybe I'm an idiot and I'm autistic and I like blue and yellow. Who knows? Now, on the front of I think everybody knows where this is fucking headed. And I don't like the fact that you're stealing my side piece team from last year, son of a bitch.
Oh,
and I'm spoiling
there's
that.
the reveal.
Fuck off. If you are a fan of this show, you know where the fuck we're going with this, which is I am tied by my balls and dick to JJ McCarthy.
He is.
I am tied to JJ McCarthy. And trust me, I see the tweets. 5th interception in a practice. I'm seeing them.
It was from last year's training camp, just to be clear, but it was a good troll.
Fuck off, everybody. All right. Look, I believe in him. I believe in the kid. I think I can spend all the side conversations I see KOC having with him. I think it's just good coaching one-on-one. Not that it happens in the middle of practice and it's kind of fucking weird, but whatever. Work on your shit, son. I like this team. I like the Minnesota Vikings. I don't like Detroit as much this year. I'm not sold on Green Bay as much as people are sold on Jordan Love. I'm not there yet. I still need to see a bit more. And Chicago's a dumpster fire. So Minnesota, baby. And I get to root for Jonathan Allen.
And you get to root for Jonathan Allen. So the Minnesota Vikings are KDot's second side piece team because going back to last year, we still talk about JJ McCarthy just texting each other.
Yeah,
we still talk about Penix and stuff like that. And so I've got his former side piece team, the Atlanta Falcons. We'll see how feelings go with that one. But now I've got Jaden, obviously.
I would tell you this right now, and this is a confession. If Kyle Pitts gets a double-digit touchdown when you root for him, I'm going to hurt you.
He might.
He
might. And you know where I live.
You know
where I live.
Ground.
Yeah, no, don't worry. Great content, so long as we film it.
If Kyle Pitts goes off, I'm going to be so upset.
They're lining him up at receiver right now.
Dog, like you.
That's the other thing. He has loved Kyle Pitts for so long, and if he finally explodes with a competent quarterback now, and he might.
There are
Michael
two
Penix
teams in sports that I root for every year for the last decade, and they ruin me. It's the Atlanta Falcons and the Philadelphia 76ers. Fuck both those. I'm out.
And I'm in. So
Yeah.
I got the Atlanta Falcons as my other side piece team. So that gives me, according to my quarterback rankings, last draft. We have Jaden, obviously, and God bless him. So we have Jaden, Drake May, and Michael Penix. I have Penix 2, Drake May 3. So I get to root for all three of the guys. And I get to playfully rib KDot as the Minnesota Vikings fall apart because JJ's not ready yet.
Remember, I didn't think JJ had as good an arm as Drake May. I didn't think he had as good an arm as Jaden.
I actually thought he did. Yeah.
I thought the guy is a leader and he has the intangibles. And that's what I'm banking
very,
on.
very well.
I'm banking on he might throw 20 interceptions, 20 touchdowns. They're going to be deep in the playoffs.
It's an amazing situation for him. So anyway, we're
if he Trent Dilferson, it's a win for me.
That's fair. That's honestly fair. And so, yeah, guys, if you want a second side piece team, feel free, have at it, throw it in the comments along with your faith chips. Excited for the NFL season. That's what's happening right now. We're still going to be like commanders. We'll have a small section for around the league and just banter off each other. It's going to be good. And so with that, we go over to the comment mailbag featuring an intro from our very own Nikki.
Comment mailbag time, motherfuckers. District divided, ain't got time for no suckers. Spread the word, get in line. OGs and new G's, it's your time. And spread the gospel, cause this shit is divine. Yeah.
All right. Thank you as always for that intro, Nikki. Are we keeping Nikki on the intro? Because people talking.
All right. Can I reveal a little bit?
Yeah, obviously.
At least where my head's at and in line with you. I guess we should have had this full-blown conversation, but whatever. The idea is that Dish Divide is going to get a bit of a refresh in certain ways. Okay. We're thinking new season team. They got the uniform coming back. We got a quarterback. We know we got a quarterback now. Things get a little excited. So I'm thinking because after the district's gone, we got money opened up. There's less competition. I'm sorry, guys. I'm joking. I'm sorry. I couldn't resist. All fucking love. Yeah, we want to do some things, and some of that stuff is going to look a little different and probably a little more elevated than what it is we've done in the past. So, look out. Just keep an eye out.
Keep an eye out. Very, very excited for that. And hopefully you guys are too, as we continue to reveal changes, as we continue. All good stuff, though. All good stuff. All positive. We're beginning with DMV football.
Yeah, manual at shows every Wednesday. RG3 Fridays.
I would quit.
Joy Taylor, where you at?
I would quit. DMV football, new subscriber to the channel. This is DMV football gauntlet going. Thank you for the shout out. Great episode. That's Matthew Heiserman, who once again, if you're not following him, please do so. Like and subscribe to his channel. He, as I last checked, 4 subscribers away from 100, which, dude, being 14, that's amazing. He is working right now. He's talking to all sorts of people. Please like and subscribe to his channel, and we will keep shouting you out.
That wants to be able to look at the TV and say, I knew this guy early on. We communicated, this is your opportunity.
Kid's going to be a star. Kid is going to be a star. He's already getting started. I don't see other ones doing that. He is. Then we go to Coach Lombard. Shout out. Define elite. To me, elite means top 5. Terry is a top 10 wide receiver. I would still pay him $30 million a year. Terry's only leverage is holding out and missing week 1 versus New York. Terry creates about 5 points on offense each week. Washington will likely miss that, especially if Adam Peters is trying to win a Super Bowl. That got a thumbs up, KDot. And then DJ up to Demons and Twos. I never know how to pronounce. There's so many letters. Camel case. Top 20, you're reaching. And this is why AP isn't paying anything north of 28, because 33 is top 10 money, which Terry is not. Okay, so there's already a little bit of difference just in there. KDot, your reaction to what Coach said, and define elite.
I don't know if I got a number for elite, because I think that there's some lean years where it might not be the best. Yeah. I think when you see it. I think there are some guys that when they play, it's just special.
It's a feel.
It's a feel. And that's my issue, is that Terry doesn't have the feel. He has the holy shit. He does some of the things the guys with the feels does sometimes, but he's not the feels guy. He's the holy shit. Did you see what he did? Do you imagine he did what he just did? Do you see the quarterbacks he's playing with? Did you see? He's not even that tall. He's not that big. He's not that fat. Did you see him run through those defenders against Dallas to make it to the end zone? It was fucking nuts. But you never look at him and be like, when you see Justin Jefferson, watch him for a quarter. You're like,
no, it's
right. You watch Jamar Chase for a quarter. You're like, all right, I get it. You watch Tyreek Hill in his prime. You're like, I get it. Randy Moss. I get it. Terry is. You love him, you root for him, but you never looked at him and like, yeah, it's more like it is very hard to get into that space with any of your play. And he does occasionally. And that makes him one of those unique types.
So it's interesting. And Coach, it's a really good question. Define elite, honestly. And I think top 5 is fair, in which case I would find Terry, to me, just outside of it, not even that far outside of it, but outside of it. So I mean, just looking at this list, I would rather have Jamar Chase, obviously. I would rather have Justin Jefferson. CeeDee Lamb's 26 and has done a whole lot in the league right now, so I would take him. A.J. Brown, of course. And then you get into interesting conversations, though, right? Because then it depends on how you feel about Garrett Wilson. It depends on how you feel about Amon-Ra St. Brown. Malik Neighbors, I think, is a star, and he also has the rapport with Jaden. So that's like, okay, maybe I take Malik. But there's Mike Evans. Terry would have been 10, by the way. It was Terry, Puka Nacua, and Garrett Wilson who were all tied for 10. And that was what Jeremy Fowler said. This is ESPN's top 10, where they interview the coaches, the scouts, etc. He had said so on DMV Football Gauntlet, which once again, like, subscribe there. So Terry, to me, is in the top 10. And I would also, of course, pay him $30 million a year. The holdout week 1 versus New York is an interesting one. I can see him doing it, but I also don't know that Adam Peters allows it to get to that point, because I do think that maybe they would trade him if that looked like that was going to happen instead.
Look, at the end of the day, if you're Adam Peters and his leverage is like, all right, I'm going to wait until week 1, you also, because you have him on a contract and the only money, I don't think this is a distraction for this team. I don't. I think that the locker room is strong enough that I don't think it's a distraction. I think it's probably an annoyance, but it's not a.
Yeah, I agree there. Yeah.
If they enter week 1 and the receivers outside of Deebo Samuel, or maybe even Deebo Samuel, suck ass, then if you're Adam Peters, you're like, okay, maybe we do. But if week 1 comes against New York, and this is the same thing that Terry's got to take this into account too. You're betting against JD5.
It's a dice roll. Yeah. It is a dice roll.
So, like, if you don't think I think that Jaden can elevate the play of some of these guys, maybe not to your level, but elevate the play of these guys. I saw what he did with fucking Zacchaeus and De'Ami Brown last year.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I feel pretty good about it. So, like, if you want to roll those dice, roll those dice. Would we say that the team would be better with you on it? Absolutely. But does this mean that we're like, oh, we have to move heaven and earth to make this work for you? No, sir. Like, if you want to say the bet. I still think, if I'm looking at who blinks first, I still think it's Terry if the number comes back at around 28-29. That's me. And I do think in order for him to accept 28-29, he's going to have to take some time.
Yep. No, that is true, and it will take some time. And I hope you're right, KDot. If he's willing to settle at that 28-29, I think the team gets there. I'm not sure the team gets to 30, but I think the team gets to 28-29. And so then it would be up to Terry.
Because I think that Deebo thing is also something you got to take into consideration, which is the one that you keep bringing up. It's like, all right, if I break this for him, where the fuck do I got to do with Deebo now? Like, it gets tough, and I do not want to be paying wide receivers this much money.
It's fair. One thing in Terry's favor, and this is to Coach's point, and I think people who are like, just pay Terry, their point. When Jaden's targeting Terry, passer rating last year was 133, about. When he was targeting others, 91.8. That is a huge drop. So just, Terry's important, as everybody knows.
91.8 is pretty fucking good.
91.8 is pretty fucking good. But you know what's amazing is 133.
I'm not, man. It's incredible.
Yep. We go over to the Nathan Perry. Shout out one more time and shout out Ref the District.
Do you have Puka Nacua over him?
No, I don't.
I do.
Yeah. And so you get into that fluid, like people will have differing opinions there.
Yeah.
That was a good one though, because that was one I was thinking about. Terry and Puka are right next to each other in the honorable
To me,
mention.
it's three. To me, it's Puka, Nico,
Mhm.
and then T. And T becomes interesting because he's the number 2.
Right.
That
That's
to me is that category right there where it's like at any given like I don't just slam dunk Terry over those 3 guys. I can't. So like I start thinking about it, and depending on the day, I might have him third of that crew.
By the way, it also has to be said, I think there's room for Terry to enter top 5. I know maybe because we got moments, like moments last year from him. The catch against Cincinnati, the miracle against Dallas, and the fucking guy missed the extra point, Austin Seibert, and the touchdown catch against Dallas again, week 18. Yeah, it was ultimately a meaningless game, but he came down with it. Go ahead.
According to Jordan Schultz, Terry has officially requested a trade.
Well, we're swinging a hot bat here. Jesus Christ.
Adam Schefter just tweeted, but it doesn't mean anything.
It doesn't. It doesn't. But it's annoying that that's real.
Yeah.
Right?
It just happened.
KDot, we're swinging a hot bat. I don't know what to say. Jeez. All right. Well, we'll probably conclude this episode and just jump on and talk. KDot, are you down to do that, honestly? Like, we'll finish up the comment mailbag and we'll flip around and just go live and talk about the requested trade.
Yeah, I mean, depending on what we can do that.
Yeah, cool. Well, then let's keep going. Shout out to Nathan Perry. Shout out Ref the District. Fuck me. Are you kidding me? All right. So I'm teeing up a video on wide receivers over 30. Should be wild. I came across a graphic that showed how Terry had more yards than a lot of players being paid more than him. I'd be mad too. KDot, your reaction?
It's tough. Yeah, man. If somebody's making more money than me and I think I'm better than them, yeah, I'm gonna be fucking upset. But guess what? It happens every day.
I am in an emotionally vulnerable spot right now. That's where I'm at. The Nathan Perry. I do love you. And anytime you want to come on, please do. D Smoke 252 goes, man, I'm no GM. I'm a fan. So I take what y'all think. But one thing I can say is this: more stressful than it should be. Yeah, I should not care this much, but I can't control it. It's like, damn, AP got to remember we got PTSD. We get JD5. Now this. KDot, your reaction?
I'm sorry. I'm laughing at how you're trying to get through this.
I am. I
wish I felt what you felt right now.
It literally just broke.
Yeah. I already there are people offering me trades right now on my phone. Like, hey, you want Michael Mayer in a third?
This is insane. This is the most unhinged comment mailbag. What the fuck is going on? You can search for jobs on X. I didn't even realize that. Anyway, go ahead.
Yeah, sex work. Yeah, I honestly I did not hear that comment. I'm sorry, bud. Like whoever that was, who was that?
This is D Smoke.
D Smoke, love you, brother. I think I do. I think
D Smoke's dope. He's the one that wanted Rio on and has been suggesting collabs, and we made that happen.
D Smoke, I'm sorry, brother. I should have listened all the way through, but like we getting live news and kind of like reacting, and I'm sorry, but
I'm sorry too, because I'm definitely coming across a bit more edgy than usual. Because anyway, you're right. We get JD5. Now this guy's just laughing his ass off over here. D Smoke, we appreciate you. We're gonna move on to donate. Donate.
I'll listen this time. Okay.
Amit, I don't know how you hacked the algorithm because everybody I know's Instagrams are all ass too. There is another comment further up. This is DJ up to Demons and Twos. All the crying, laughing emojis, 5908. This is the Instagram conversation we have. Mine is ass too. So people, first off, shout out for watching as long as you guys do. We thoroughly appreciate when you rock with us the entire episode. But yeah, you got to, now it's a quick tutorial as we, do this. You got to scroll past it. I know it's hard. I know. But like, once you do, and you find some of the other info that you're interested in. For me, I was learning golf. So a lot of golf videos. Like, how do I get better at this thing? Or soccer. I love soccer highlights. It's still about 90% ass, and then it's slowly 80, and then it's slowly 70, and slowly 60. Instagram does their level best to put as much ass on there as possible. It's just true. They know how to keep people on a platform. That's how it's done.
You're right. Now after the pod was over, this was a segment of the podcast that I did show to other people, and we all everybody was kind of like talking about what it is that was going on. Now, I think it was universal across the board that you're a fucking liar, and you got to either a burner account or A-Train gets so much ass and Clarendon, the fucking virtual shit just don't work. Bitch, you get on my dick. You think I'm jerking off to Instagram? No, sir. I need the real thing. I'm A-Train, baby. Baby.
I'm going to clip that. that little line you did. We go to DJ up to Demons and Twos one more time. KDot, you are not getting it. They are not paying Terry 30 anything. He's pushing it past 28 mil, and that's for one now. He could have took 25 and a bump for 3, 27 for 2. This, I can't say it on the pod. Guy wants 40, and he's standing firm. I'm sorry, ain't no middle once you talking that spicy Bama ass shit. And on top of that, your ass don't show up for work? Terry is lunching. Why are we talking about an extension a year before anyway? He pouting like an old bitch right now, and I'm sick of y'all coddling, dude. Well, I coddled him some more. K-Dot, your reaction?
I won't go that far. And the reason I won't go that far is, once again, we are fans. And at the end of the day, it ain't my fucking money. I want him here, and I'd really like him to be here. Have I agreed with everything that he's done in this process? No. But at the end of the day, I still think... Sorry, another alert came through from Adam Schefter. All right, hold on. I'll finish this thought. Yes. I don't think that you do not have to choose sides in this thing. I think you can look at it and look at the situation and be like, if you were in a situation, Adam Peterson, you should have hesitation. If you're Terry McLaurin, you had to deal with the bullshit you've had to put up with in this fucking organization for the years you had. You want to be taken care of. It's a rough situation for everybody involved. You do not need to start blaming or shitting on anybody else because of it. And according to Adam Schefter, there have been teams that have contemplated making a move for disgruntled wide receiver Terry McLaurin.
Yep.
But the Commanders have no interest in moving on from him. And that is Adam P. What I say earlier, you can't pick up the phone right now if you're Adam. It's a bad idea. You got to let this play out. Nothing's going to change between now and week 1 if you got the locker room set. Who gives a shit? Is basically what you need to come down to.
We're literally about to go live after this, so you'll hear more thoughts on this. DJ up to Demons and Twos, 2149. I'm prepared to be upset. Big mad, partner, because they ain't offering 30 for 3 to Terry. Look, that's where I'm at right now. I don't think they get to the 30 number. If they do, I think this gets done. But I don't see the team getting to 30. So then it comes down to what KDot's saying. If we get to 28, 29, does Terry cave? Is he willing to? And I would view it as caving. Would he be willing to take that? And if the answer is yes, then we're good. Right now, I don't think he's willing to take that. So I think someone blinks, just to be clear. I just don't know who. If I had to guess, it would be Terry. But if the team gets to 30, I always said 3 years, 90. I would be upset if the team did not offer that. That's currently where we certainly stand. And so we'll see. Big Papa Grizzly, 4903. Release the Epstein files and keep my team's name out your fucking mouth. Amen.
No notes.
No notes. And here's another from Big Papa Grizzly. To be completely honest, at this point, I believe that anyone that is still crying about the Redskins' name is doing so out of some self-servicing need to be anti-woke. Yacht Bitch killed any prestige that name used to have, and in my opinion, we need to let it stay dead. Pay homage as the team is now doing with the uniforms, and remember the glory days. But can we please move forward with building a new winning culture without having to try and exercise the demons of the Snyder era? Do I think the name being changed was a ridiculous bitch move? Yes. Do I care that it's gone? No. We are winning, and that is all that matters. Kid out your reaction.
When I was younger, I used to defend it. When I got older, I realized it wasn't worth defending. I'm still there in that boat. I want a winning product.
That's all I care about. Team winning. Last year was a joy. You give 2 fucks what the name's called. Earl Bruce, 3232, shout out. I keep wondering if Terry's agent is incompetent. Terry is his biggest client, and I think he's overreaching. To me, $30 million should be adequate. If not, this is all about ego. Normally, I support the players in these situations, but man, don't hamstring your team. Step back, take a deep breath, think, and then negotiate. It's not the team's fault that the Steelers overpaid DK. So that's Earl Bruce, who has the calmer take. Hey, what's going on here? Everyone just take a breath, relax, negotiate. Things get done. I do think 30 million should be adequate. That's where I stand. KDot, your reaction.
I don't think Terry's at 30. I don't think he's at 30, but it's
I think 30 works is what I'm saying. Not that he wants more, but I think 30 works.
I don't like all right, I'll put it. I want 28 or 29 to work. I think that's a sweet spot.
By the way, from just my perspective, like Commanders fan, yeah. Like I want the players to get all their money. Mm-hmm. But here's the deal. If they don't, it helps the team's cap situation.
Mm-hmm.
So there's also that. But anyway, go ahead.
Yeah. No, that's pretty much it, man. I'd like Terry to be here, but I like the idea that I have a front office that's not blinking when almost any one person would blink. And here in Washington, somebody would have either blinked a long time ago, or this would be such a nasty split that it'd be insane. And right now, the only thing I get is they're not communicating, because I think that Terry, from everything I'm gaining right now, is like the idea, like when you said earlier that the Eastern Motors commercial, that's why he was doing it, because they weren't talking. Pick up a fucking phone. Like it is not on Adam Peters to call you. You want the new contract. It is up to you.
We don't know that.
I'm saying that what I'm seeing based on, I'm just looking at what I'm seeing. This is what I'm inferring based on what I'm seeing. Yeah. What I'm seeing from everything is, I think Washington's shut the fuck up. I think that Terry's camp probably threw out a number pretty early on that Washington was like, what? And they said, all right, well, let the wide receiver market do what it does, and then afterwards we'll see what's what. And they didn't reach back out to Terry and his camp. And I think that Terry and those guys probably need to pick up a phone if that's an issue for you. But right now, I don't see Washington being in a position where they have to do anything other than make you happy. That's the only reason they got to do anything, is to make you happy. And it's a business; they're not under any obligation to do so. If they think that it would, if they think making you happy would hurt what it is they're trying to do long term.
We conclude with Jess Santo. Sup, brosifs? I truly believe that Terry's agent is screwing this whole deal up. So that's now back-to-back comments thinking agent is screwing this up. Terry is not acting low-key like he normally does. And it was odd to see his agent with him at training camp. They need to set their bar lower to around the 29 to 32 million a year mark. And I think if the team ups the bonuses and guaranteed money, it will get done. We are building a perennial contender here, and Terry knows it. He does not want to leave, and he knows he's loved by the team and fans alike. Saying JD5 will have a sophomore slump hasn't followed him. Anyone saying that JD5 having a sophomore slump is a possibility has not followed him closely enough.
Yeah.
Like I said last summer, he is a psychopath when it comes to football. He sleeps, eats, and breathes it. It was awesome seeing him with Dan Marino and Joe Montana, two quarterbacks I grew up watching. Shame Hurts couldn't make the panel. My side piece team this year, the Titans. Cam Ward has to be the least talked about first overall pick ever. Yes. He has that all in or bust mentality similar to Daniels. I think the Pats and Raiders are going to have turnaround seasons as well. It looks like this rookie class might be an absolute grand theft ante-up break all y'all selves draft. Connerly, Amos, Bill, Lane, and Medrano all look like they will be seeing the field this season. Amos looks to be the biggest steal, and he's got a magnetic personality, while Bill is going to give Robinson and Eckler a serious competition for playing time. New nicknames: Bullet Bill, Famous Amos, and the Fast Lane. That Von Miller presser was fantastic. I'm so pumped to see him and Wagner playing together. Fuck how old they are. If you're a casual fan, you would want to see that. Love the show, gents. Want an AI old dirty bastard comment mailbag song? Share this shit. KDot, your reaction.
I want that too. Jess also, once again, no notes. I like the way your thought process works, but
Yeah, that was beautifully said, Jess. And it's good to hear from you. And it's good to hear from all of you. This was the show. This was District Divided, a DC sports podcast, more specifically, a Washington Commanders podcast. I am Amit, that is KDot. And thank you guys for listening. And once again, shout out Ref the District for an awesome 4.5-year run. We keep shouting them out because they mean a lot to us. They were coming up with us. And man, they're following much bigger than us. So I know a lot of their fans are going to miss them too, along with the two of us. If you enjoyed this episode, if you could please like the video, subscribe to the channel, hit the notification bell, comment as you always do, and KDot.
Somebody start up the GoFundMe. We paying Terry. That was that. Share the shit.
Share this shit. We greatly appreciate you guys. You are going to see this after our live, but we did this before the live. So just keep that in mind. All right. So we'll see you guys next Friday, 2 p.m. or maybe sooner now that the season's ramping up. We shall see. But until then, take it easy.
Bye, everybody.
In DC, we're just hoping that you listen.